Welcome! Your Fearless Aging podcast is taking off. The cheers are for you, wanting to age and live fearlessly. Here's your host, America's healthy aging trainer and creator of the ageless living lifestyle, Rico Cavaglia.
Hello, this is Rico Cavaglia, America's healthy aging trainer and creator of the ageless living lifestyle, and this is your Fearless Aging podcast. And the title of today's episode is Breaking Unhealthy Habits. This is such a good one. We all have habits and we all have unhealthy habits as well. So this is a topic that we all need to learn about. So it's going to be some really great information. So you definitely want to stick around and learn how to break some of those unhealthy habits. Our guest today is an author. She's a consultant, college instructor, and professional speaker to busy professionals seeking to strike a healthy, harmonious balance between their work and their real lives. She teaches whole life wellness methods via webinars, workshops, as a keynote speaker, and offers private consulting. She has shared her insights on life balance, plant-based nutrition, health, and self-care topics with nationally recognized publications, radio shows, and television, including The Oprah Show. And so let's welcome to our show, Diane Randle. Hi, Diane.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for being here. And just right away to let you know, you can learn all more about Diane, what she does and how you can consult with her, and also to check out her really important and popular book called Jumpstart Your Life, and that's going to be at Diane Randle, just DianeRandleConsults.com. Okay, Diane, so I always like to start off by having our guests just tell us a little bit about yourself so we get to know a little bit about you. So tell us something that's maybe unique or interesting, or maybe that most people don't know, or just something you love to do or what you're really interested in.
Well, I live in Chicago, and I love working with people, supporting them in having a life that really supports them. I enjoy being out hiking. I enjoy going to the West Coast every year just so I can see some mountains.
That's a good, I was just going to say, so I don't know what, you can't really do a whole lot of hiking in Chicago. I mean, you can do walking, but I don't know about hiking.
Hiking. Yeah, so that's one thing I love to do every year is get out and recharge myself by going somewhere west, Utah, California, whatever strikes me at the time.
Yeah, it's so good to get out in the forest and the mountain, get out in nature. That's that's a really good healthy habit, isn't it?
It's a healthy habit.
Okay. Well, tell us something that's kind of really interesting or something unique about you.
What's unique? Yeah, you put me on the spot. What's unique about me? What's unique about me is that I don't know. You put me on the spot. You really put me on the spot because I feel that I'm a unique person in what I do to serve others and what I do for the animals and what I do to support myself.
Well, actually, we all have unique talents. Isn't that the key? We all have unique talents, and we need to discover those unique talents so we can help other people. I know you're definitely doing that. Okay, so what's something really interesting about you? Can you think of something interesting? Or maybe tell us something secret about you that you don't know.
You know what? This is the beautiful thing about me at this point in my life. I am so transparent. I have no secrets. That's what's unique about me.
Well,
no secrets. I've been working on releasing the secrets and all that other stuff for many, many years. So that does make me unique because I consciously work to get rid of stuff that's heavy.
Okay, well, that sounds good. How about we run you for president then?
No, thank you.
No, yeah, I know. Isn't that a funny thing? You know what my father used to always say? He used to always say, unfortunately, anyone who who's smart enough and humanitarian enough to be a good president, they don't want to do it, because it's so screwed up. It's so all the politics involved and all the stuff. That's right. It's hard to get somebody really great to run for president. Okay, well, let's get into the subject here because, again, as I mentioned earlier, uh, we all have habits. That's just what all of our life things we do are habits, and we have lots of habits that are not serving us and they're unhealthy. So we're going to learn from Diane how she developed her strategies for breaking unhealthy habits. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you came to do what you do.
Well, I've been at this for 25 years, believe it or not. And I was originally I was my own client because I was working in a very demanding, high energy technology environment. I had my own business at the time, and I was just stressed out. I had no balance in my life. And even though I was really young, my health was starting to turn and my doctor was suggesting medications, and I just had no tools to support me in my life, whether it was balance, whether it was health. I just had no tools. So I decided at some point that I needed to figure out. I love my career. And I'm a mom. I'm a divorced mom with 2 small children too. Okay. Trying to keep all those balls in the air. So I started researching and asking myself, what can I do to balance my life so I'm not getting sick, so I'm not getting stressed to the point where I have anxiety attacks, I end up in the hospital, because that's what happens when you have no tools to support yourself in your life. So fast forward, I started educating myself, and along the way, I became a life coach. Along the way, I became a health coach, just learning things to support myself. And I got education in behavior change management because I started not only working with myself, but then sharing with people. They became curious about what I was doing and they wanted to know. And a few years ago, I got a master's in spiritual psychology, and that really pulled everything together because the support I give people is to change their lives from the inside out.
Very good. I just want to inject. Yeah, I was going to say that. I'm really intrigued by the term of spiritual psychology. I'm really into spirituality. So we'll talk a little bit later. We'll definitely. I want to know more about what you call spiritual psychology.
Okay.
And I also just want to say that you're such a good example for people because almost everybody. Well, I can't say everybody, but we all experience hard times in our life and being stressed, like you say. And it's true, we don't have the tools. Isn't it true that all the things that we really need to function well in this world, we don't learn as little kids, like how to take care of our physical health and how to create good relationships and how to do good communication and self-esteem, all the things that we really need, right? Like you mentioned, the tools, that's not what we're taught. And those are things we should have been taught when we were kids, right?
And it's not what we were taught. So the one thing I do and why I do my work is that, and I always tell people, these are the workshops that I teach. I teach you how to use what you already have to create a life that you really, really want, a happy life, a life full of joy. But it's about going inside and looking and being honest and truthful as well, and everybody's not ready for that. But when you're ready, it's about telling the truth, walking through whatever's coming forward in the moment, because that's where the healing is on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So it's making things that are really heavy, it's releasing them once you're ready to tell the truth about them, and just really finding joy and happiness in your life.
Yeah. And again, I just want to say you're such a great example of that, for people, because again, everybody is dealing with and looking for these answers and tools, and so and they're out there. So you just got to step up like you did and say, I'm gonna find this and I'm gonna do it. So that's what it takes is to get out there. So how did you come up with this idea of how to break unhealthy habits? Talk about some habits and then give us some ideas of some habits that and some ways that you can break those habits.
Okay, well, I teach personal enrichment workshops. What that means is I teach workshops on how to create a life from the inside out. So I do a lot of self-realization, personal growth type of workshops. at the college, and sometimes I get invited to do these workshops. So in my workshops, and this is a workshop that I do, it was actually part of another workshop that was part of the Jumpstart Your Life program that I have. And a lot of it is focusing on the habits that don't serve us anymore. I decided to take it out and make it its own course because we were spending so much time on this piece of the course.
Okay.
So it's not just breaking those obvious habits, like smoking, losing weight, the normal stuff. It's breaking habits that don't support our overall well-being. Okay.
So how would you teach people to be on clarity on how to become aware of these unhealthy habits that may not be so obvious?
It's four steps, and you just said the first one. The first one is awareness.
Right.
It's awareness and discerning that this particular thing that I'm doing. So if I want to lose weight, that's usually one that everybody. That it's no longer serving me to just sit at my desk and not do anything with my health, because guess what? I'm suffering. I have all these chronic conditions. It's no longer serving me to not do it. So the first step is to be aware and honest about that this particular thing is not serving me, and that's awareness. And the second thing is acknowledging that. So and just acknowledging that this is not good for my well-being, and it's not just health. It could be things you're doing in your life. Like one person I'm working with now is a workaholic, basically works all the time, tells me he gets bored if he's not working, but then on the other hand, it's not serving him, his well-being. He has diabetes because he's not taking the time to eat. His family's mad at him because he's not going home. He's not, it's just not serving his overall well-being. So he had the awareness and then the acknowledgement. And the third step is when you ask yourself, okay, how am I going to replace this behavior? So if it's the weight loss, then maybe I'm going to park my car further out and walk up the steps through the building, take the long way. Or with this person that I'm currently working with, maybe I'm not going to work till 9 o'clock. I'm going to go home at 6 at a decent time. And I'm not going to work on the weekends because I'm bored. Right. I'm going to find some activity that I enjoy, maybe with my family or with myself, something that makes me happy and lights my life up, instead of just work can fill voids, but it doesn't necessarily make you happy. If you're working on the weekends, right, then there's something off balance there, and that's what you need to explore. And once you have the awareness, you have the acknowledgement, then you think of how will I replace this behavior. And as we talked about, it's getting a little more physical activity. It's this person going home at a decent hour. And the last part of that is repetition, because what happens is when you start to replace an unhealthy habit, you have to repeat, you have to practice. You have to practice that new behavior over and over and over again until it becomes something healthy for you, something that supports you in your life, not take away from your life. So that's why I say breaking unhealthy habits. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's those obvious things. So if I'm an unhappy person, maybe that's not serving me either anymore. It's not serving my overall well-being. So the question is, how do I acknowledge that and replace it with something that's going to make me happy, that's going to work that muscle, that where I'm getting stronger in being open and being happy and looking at where I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? It's exploring all those things inside. Why am I not happy? And then replacing that with something that's going to bring me joy. And the 4 steps